Welcome to Live, Learn, and Exercise, a space where real people get real. In every episode, we unpack the highs, lows, and hilarious in-betweens of being human. From romantic relationships and workplace dynamics to parenting and that quiet tug of war we play with ourselves. It's all on the table. So join my friends and me for a ride filled with thoughtful twists, insightful turns, and the fuel you'll need to shift into your next lane. Live, learn, and exercise. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Live, Learn, and Exercise. It's your girl, Michaela, and I'm back with another incredible guest on what should be a great show. I am here with one of my good friends and former colleagues, Richie Poe. Everybody say hi to Richie Poe. Richie Poe, say hi
Hello.
back. All right, I'm going to let Richie introduce himself. However, before he does, I have to say that I have some of my most, I would say, liberating moments as a manager at the company that we shared under Richie Poe. So Richie is a peer and a friend now, but there was a point where I actually reported to Richie. And I always tell everyone that I felt my most creative, I felt my most authentic and also autonomous over Richie. And so I have some really great memories, some great collaborations. I believe my trend setting stretch and mobility program started under your tutelage. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you don't get your flowers on a regular basis, you know, your girl is here to give you your literal and your metaphoric flowers and foliage. So, introduce yourself, but I just wanted to start with that because you're my guy.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Richie Poe. I'm coming to you from Mérida, Yucatan. I moved down here almost exactly a year ago from Washington, D.C., where Michaela and I built our not only our professional relationship, but ended as a very strong personal relationship and friendship. I moved down here about a year ago to chase my dream of opening a bed and breakfast. And I've been doing it now for a year.
I know. Oh my God. Okay. So there's so many directions that we can and we must take. I think so. Let's start where you ended. About a year ago, after many years of visualizing, budgeting, planning, heartbreaks,
Yes.
you made the courageous step to leave a community and a country and an industry that you've been in for a while to go chase your dream. So tell us about that and all the things surrounding that.
So, about in 2017, I decided it was time for me to try to chase my dream. So, I flew into Cancun in 2017, and I rented a car and drove around the peninsula for a couple weeks, going to a bunch of different towns and cities that I was interested in. And I was going to do the same thing in the central part of Mexico. But I came here and fell in love with Merida, which is where I am now. And I really felt connected with the people here and with the city, and just felt really connected with. I mean, I don't know how you describe it, but it sounds weird. But just I felt really connected with like the earth. I don't know. I felt really comfortable here.
And I
Yeah.
didn't know you were going to say that. I fully brought the earth and the
Yes.
Caribbean with me today because you know Cancun and Mexico. That's like my second home. We'll get into
Yeah.
that later, but I channeled that for you today.
Yeah. Thank you. So after I discovered Merida, I came back a couple months later and spent 2 weeks here just to make sure it wasn't, you know, something else that I was feeling, and it was definitely authentic what I was feeling and genuine. So I spent 9 years working my ass off, 7 days a week, doing everything I could to earn as much money as I possibly could, and really plan and learn how to operate a bed and breakfast. And so I did that for about 9 years. And then finally, after 5 attempts to buy a house, this house was the fifth attempt. I finally bought a house. It took 11 months to close on the house. I think you remember.
Yes,
Um,
I do.
that was a really hard time because I almost lost the house a couple times.
Right.
I quit my job at Vita probably too early because I ended up being stuck there in my friend's house on his sofa for
Mm-hmm.
like 3 months without a
Mm-hmm.
job. But I finally made it here, and I flew into Merida on September 5th of last year.
Woo, yeah. I mean, I feel like I lived a large portion of that journey with you. I mean, my first recollection of this dream was probably about 6.5 years ago
Yep.
when we were in City Vista, and you were like, listen, my plan is 1 to 2 years to be there, and you talked about some of your anxieties about it. And I guess what I'm most interested in, because it's been a prevailing theme this season in the show, is the power of words, the power of your surroundings. And so talk to me about the emotional and mental journey that you've been on to make this big dream happen, and what things influenced you on either side of that coin. Were there things that happened that emboldened you and made you put your head down and focus in? Were there things that distracted you or made you reconsider if this was the right thing? Talk to me about that mental and emotional journey.
So there was never a question. Sorry, I'll probably cry a bunch during this.
Oh, you could cry, Richie. We're
There
friends.
was, there was once I made the decision, it was never a choice anymore. So in 2017, I made the decision. I put it out there. I told everybody. I told my employer. I told my colleagues. I told my friends. I told my family. I told everybody this is what I was going to do.
Right.
So, I mean, this was it. Um, you know, we can talk about this later, but people ask me a question all the time now, and they ask me if I'm happy. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
hard question to answer, but it kind of says it kind of gives a way to answer your question. So it's like there was never ever a choice. This was only the choice. This
Right.
was what I was going to do, and I was going to do what it took to do it. And this is what I was going to do. And this was the path I was going to go on, and it was decided upon 9 years ago. So, I mean, it's been hard. It was hard then. It's harder now. It was much more emotional then because, being in DC, you've been through it with me. There's the building and the creating and the thinking about
Yes.
like what I want the bed and breakfast to be like and how I want to interact with the community and like how I want my guests to interact and, fun things like what's the name of the bed and breakfast and what's the logo going to look like and,
Right.
things like that are fun. And then you get down into things like trying to buy the house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was hard. And there were many, many times where I thought that this wasn't going to happen right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it took 9 years. And when I first told you 6.5 or 7 years ago, I said it was going to be 1 to 2 years. It
Mm-hmm.
took 9. It took 9. And during those 9 years, it was a lot, but it was very, very emotional, going through the ups and downs of losing houses, brokers that didn't want to work with me because they thought that, they didn't believe in what I was doing.
Right.
Um, and then just, it was like, I knew the whole time this was the path I was going to go on. But, towards the end, it was like, I can't, I've got it. Like, it's getting to the point where I'm like, this has got to happen soon. Like, my mental health had been deteriorating for a while, but like,
Yeah.
just thinking to myself, this has got to happen. And so that last 11 months from when my offer was accepted until I actually closed on the house, that was an agonizing 11 months, feeling like I was constantly, I mean, constantly hanging by a thread on to get this house.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it was more than emotional, it was financial,
Yeah,
it was all those things.
all of it.
So, what I heard you say is that, you kept thinking this has to happen, and that sounds like wishful thinking, but I'm interested to know if there were like what got you through that? Like everyone doesn't you don't just wake up with that. You don't just wake up and wish for something and hope for something for that long. Where did you have to dig? Where did you have to turn to? What kept you, no matter what degree of sane, what kept you sane and focused that whole time? I'm just really curious because listen, I don't know how you did it.
I think I wasn't happy for a long time, and I didn't want to be that way anymore.
Yeah.
And so I knew that this is what I wanted to do. This is what I
Right.
wanted to do with my life. And I didn't want to be that person, you know, with a dream that I felt so passionate about
Right.
to never do it. I'm like, why shouldn't I do it? Like,
Right.
people do stuff. People do things like this. Like,
Yes.
I can do it too,
Yes.
and like a lot of it was, I mean, it was two things. Like, I was really unhappy for a long time. For years, I was really unhappy with my life, and I just didn't see me staying there. I was like, I can't do this for
Right.
30 more years. I don't want to do this for 30 more years. I want to live my dream. I want to have my dream. That's what I want. And so I think that it was kind of that. It was like two things. Like, I'm so unhappy in my life. What else am I going to? I can't do what I'm doing for another 20 or 30 years. What else am I going to do? Oh, I've had this lifelong dream of moving to Mexico and opening a bed and breakfast. I'm
Right.
going to do that. Let me do that. And so that was kind of like the click. It was like, I mean, I would, every time that I thought I lost the dream, or the dream was going to be delayed, I would
Yeah.
never thought I would lose it, but I just thought it would be delayed.
Yeah.
I was just like, I've got to figure out something to do, because I can't keep living this way. I can't keep feeling this way anymore in my life. And so I would think of things like, oh, well, maybe I can, move to LA and open, or, work in a Pilates studio until I can get down to, Merida or something like that. But all those things were just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want
Right.
to do that at all. I want to open a
Right.
bed and breakfast in Yucatan. So, I mean, I think that,
Right.
when you have such a, I mean, Michaela, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, it was like there was no choice. This was
Yes.
it. This is it. This was it. This is it. I mean, I think that as far as motivation is concerned, it's like this is what I decided. That was
Yeah.
it.
Woo. Richie, hugs first of all. I wish I could hug you seriously. Because I know where that emotion, I know what that emotion is. And before I even say what I plan to say, I just want to tell you how much of an inspiration that you have been to, your friends and the people around you. You're right. It was no small feat to accomplish what you did. And 1 year into the game, you're still standing. Your business is thriving. You look great. You look happy despite not being able to quickly answer that question. So I just want to tell you that, like, you are inspiration, and we are just so proud. I am personally proud of you, but the friend group, we are so proud of you. And I know a couple of our other friends already beat me down, but I will be down there
Yes.
betting and breakfasting soon
I hope.
with you and doing Pilates, of course. It sounds like to me that you just, at a certain point, and we talked about this in previous shows, you were just like, why not me?
Yeah.
Why not me? Like, seriously, like, no one, why not me? And why not my dream? And
Right.
it sounds like you got to a point where you knew that you were the only person that could stand in between you and your dream. And that is amazing. And it also just sounds like you were extremely self-aware during this time. And you were self-aware about the person who you were in, in that unrest and that happiness, and very, very conscious of the shift that needed to be made into the person and into the situation that you wanted to land in. And kudos for that. There's so many people. I talked about this on my last show, or a couple shows back with Lisa Cabrera, who and it's so many people are just so comforted by the consistency of it all, the sort of familiarity of life. And you look up and years and decades pass and you're stuck in jobs, relationships, situations that literally strip you of your happiness and of your self-identity just for the comfort of knowing what it is. And
Yes.
look at you in a country that you don't really know as well as you know your home country, entering a field and an industry that you're new to. And look at that. Look at the bravery in that. So I'm just so many thoughts come, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
yes, yeah, it's just like I need to step my game up messing with you. I need to jump out there and do some things.
Well, it looks like you're doing that now, but I hope that, one of the things I talked to you about in doing this was really about, sharing the experience and giving people an inspiration. So, yes, I have a lot to be proud of, but more so, it's important to me to help others see someone who's done it and maybe give them some inspiration to help them, jump off the cliff or chase their dream. Because you're exactly right. You're exactly right. You can get so comfortable, and then next thing you know, you've lost yourself. You're like, what am I doing in this relationship? Or what am I doing in this job? Or what am I doing in this city? Or, like, what am I doing? It's been 20 years and I don't know who I am anymore,
Right.
And so, like, there was a point where I felt like that too. Like, this isn't who I am. This isn't what I want. This is who I want to be. And I'm slowly, like, becoming something I don't want to be. And
Yeah.
so hopefully, like, what I did inspires other people that might feel the same way.
Yeah. Well, look, you're inspiring me. Don't be surprised.
All
So
right.
I'm a Cancun girl, and I know that's a couple hours away from me. I'm a Cancun girl, and I have for decades visualized myself on a beach there forever. So we'll see.
All right.
So let's not a huge pivot, but I want to pivot to your life as a fitness leader and manager. I mean, you spent years uh, building gyms or pushing gyms, managing people, managing systems. So, talk to me a little bit about your previous life in the fitness industry and maybe some takeaways or lessons that lessons you gained from your experience there that you're carrying into this new phase of your life.
Oh, so much. I mean, all the things I learned at Vita or in the fitness industry before are things I do now. I mean, I learned how to manage a P&L. I learned how to deal with facilities. I mean, this house is huge. It is 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. There's a bodega. There's a pool. There's multiple balconies. There's multiple living rooms. This place is huge. And things I learned managing, 50,000 square foot facility that's as complicated as a high-end gym,
Right.
has really taught me how to manage this. What I need to look for, not let people screw me over.
Right.
And I installed my own washer and dryer. I've learned, I carry here. but like things like a budget, you
Yeah.
know, really, I mean, that was one of the things I put together before I moved here was like, what's my budget going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
I put down the line, you know how what a P&L looks like.
Yep.
I learned those things from Vita and like really learned how to like create a P&L, how to stick with it and what needed to be changed as, you know, as things went on every month.
Right.
You know, this is new, like this is my first year of operations. So the budget I created last year doesn't look the same. It's pretty close, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But that's something I learned
Yeah.
previously. Um, I do have a private Pilates business here. So, but Michaela, it's so much different
Ooh.
because I don't have a gym.
Yeah.
I got to get out in the community and find people that speak English and want
Yeah.
Pilates. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
hard, but like I do a lot of the same systems that I learned there at Vita with trying to like gain clients and like how do I gain clients? Prospecting. I prospect after this call tonight. I got to go prospect. So
Yeah.
like I mean, and I'm prospecting for my business, both businesses, Pilates and for the bed and breakfast. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I learned so much from facilities to how to manage money, how to create a P&L, um, how to go out and prospect. I learned a lot of
Yeah.
things from Vita that I carry here now.
Yeah, and that's small business and business ownership 101. I tell everyone you should never leave a job, the same professional that you came in. You always should leave a job more professionally valuable than you entered it. And in that specific instance with this company, and the way we go about our business, you almost have no choice but to be a more skilled professional than you
Yes.
walked in being. Some of it is baked into the cake, a lot of it is not.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I do. I've always known I was going to be in charge of a multi-million dollar P&L. I always knew that. I always knew there was an operational aspect to being a general manager of, a really large luxury gym. But the versatility and the creativity that you have to manage 100 employees and engage with a diverse array of vendors and be able to prospect and sell your services and your products and in some degree sell jobs, right?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
amount of rotation that we go through in the industry and things like that. I am very grateful for the professional that I've become, after being with this company for 7 years. And so, yeah. And I learned that you can tell by these shows, a lot of my show guests they started from work. And the thing that the thing that I have benefited most from in this industry is just the human connection. And it seems intuitive because it's the fitness industry. I mean, you can't get more personable than that. But the amount of deep level relationships that I have developed at this particular company is so meaningful to me, and I think it's because of the rigor and the care that's required to do this job well.
Yeah.
The people who do it well and stick around, it's sort of like a private sorority or fraternity of folks. It's
Yeah.
only, I mean, for a while, you shout outs to Kobe, our dear friend. It like there was only two other people in that circle that could really understand what we were going through, how to coach us through something, how to help, how to diffuse. And that was us,
Yeah.
given the amount of time we had been with the company, given the position, given the nuanced relationships and things like that. And so the type of versatility and the relationship building skills that I've been able to hone doing this, it has been meaningful. And it sounds like for you as well, because You got to go touch some people. You got to
Yeah,
go convince some people. You got to go create some buy-in. You got
yeah.
to go create some loyalty to you and the brand. And in some respects, it sounds like you're doing that virtually. And in other respects, it's like in person. Are you doing any virtual classes or is it all in person?
I just do it all in person.
Oh, great, 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 great.
Um,
Okay, that's great.
yeah, I teach. I have 4 private clients right now that come to see me 2 to 3 times a week. And then I have a group class I teach on Fridays.
That's
Um,
amazing. And for those that are not familiar with the Pilates brand, tell them a little bit about Pilates and like the difference between reformer and mat. And there are going to be a bunch of people coming to you now because of this show. You
yes.
want them to know what they're getting.
So there's a total of 7 apparatus in classical Pilates. I currently teach on reformer and I teach mat. So
Okay.
for my private clients, depending on what their needs are, so I have a couple runners. So runners' hips are they are sloppy. So I do mix a little bit of depending for those guys, I mix a little mat in. But basically, for Pilates, what I'm teaching people is really helping them become aware of their body. Lots of people
Mhm.
don't understand where their body is in space. So
Yeah.
really teaching them like where their body is, what parts of their body they should be using.
Right.
People get to 50 or 60 and they might have done something to their ankle when they were 20 and
Right.
now it's messed up their whole one side of their body because they've been compensating. So
Mhm.
for Pilates, I'm teaching people about their bodies and their injuries and how to fix them or how to strengthen these things, but also just move through life with less pain, move
Right.
through life with confidence, strength. It's not like you're bicep curling at the gym, but this is full body overall, just strength and flexibility without and helping people feel good in their body every day instead of dealing with things like back pain or hip pain or things like that. So
Yeah.
so for my private clients, that's really what I'm focused on. I do teach a group class and it's just mat. I kind of focus on the same things, but with the group class, a lot of those people like the social component. So not only
Mhm.
is there a fitness component to it, where I'm teaching them again, like about their body and helping them get stronger and helping them improve their mobility, but also there's a social component, especially here. I teach Pilates in English primarily. I do have been teaching myself to teach in Spanish also. So sometimes I have Spanish students, but a lot of
Yeah.
times, most of the people that come are English speaking only. And so it
Mhm.
really helps them feel connected to a community within the larger community here.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but Pilates was, I would say it was the first group fitness love that I met. So after being a personal trainer, Powerhouse Pilates was my certification, but Pilates was the first group fitness certification that I actually, yeah. So I've been dating Pilates for 20 years. Is what I'm
Yes, I
saying.
know.
And I have a checkered dating history of Pilates. Like sometimes it's hot and heavy and I just like gotta teach, gotta take, and sometimes it's like on ice. And so I go through and students always crack up because when they see me off the schedule, they're like, okay, she's taking a break from Pilates. But I
Yeah,
love Pilates. And actually, as I'm in my personal like recovery from just the kind of year that I had, I find myself turning to Pilates mat and yoga have been a part of my like sort of recovery, my
yeah.
physical recovery, and the stretching and the mobility and all of that. So yeah, and I've taken one of your classes and it was challenging, but it was so good. And you're an amazing instructor. And I also feel like this pivot into Pilates was sort of a bridge into this new life that you created. I mean, because I had never, I mean, were you an instructor prior to
No.
teaching? Yeah, you were on the management side, and you were an avid fitness seeker. I mean, you would take my classes and things like that. But I feel like when you went into the training, you started teaching pretty immediately. You started generating revenue. I felt like this is when I felt as your friend that you were really like this was happening.
Yes.
Is that how it was for you?
I think kind of me trying Pilates was kind of a way for me to expand. I mean, let's see. I think, originally at first I took the mat Pilates, which was a 2-week program, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like at a super big discount. So I was like, let me
Yeah.
try this because I'm really passionate about fitness, as you know. But once you get into this management role, it can like really drive that passion out of you. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think part of it was, let me go try this Pilates. Teaching and see what happens and how I feel about it. Maybe that will really help inspire me again to be in this, to live better in this field that I've been working in for so long.
Yeah.
And then, once I started doing the training and I started teaching classes, I'm like, oh, I really like this. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
like the social component. I like helping people. I like teaching people. I like fitness. So it became a way for me to not only earn extra income, but also just kind of help me stay happy in the place that I was for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then, now it's really helping me on, opening a brand new business in a foreign country. It's not like I'm making money. So,
Not yet. Not yet,
right,
baby. Not
right.
yet.
But Pilates has really helped me with, having some income.
Yeah. That's similar to how I experienced it. I experienced it as sort of liberating. You had this very operational job
Yeah.
that I don't want to say made you unhappy, but it coincided with this person you were trying to shift away from. And I very much, as your friend, experienced this journey in Pilates as something viable
Hmm.
to sort of like decrease your time doing that and really increase your time and focus leaning into something that was obviously making you happy. And for me, from an energy perspective, I witnessed that transition. And so
Yeah.
when I said that it was actually happening, um, for me, that was your internal locus of control happening. It
Yeah.
was you saying, like, I'm going to control what I can control and lean into something that in the here and now is taking me in the energy that I want. A lot of the stuff that was going on in Mexico was out of your control. A lot of
Right.
things had to come together, even though you set yourself up for it, it had to come together. So you can't control that. But this was something that you really
Yeah.
leaned into. And so that's how I experienced it as your friend.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so a few of the things that I love many things about you, including that you're great with kids. My first of all, you have a teenage nephew now. I just want you to know. So
Oh,
he is
wow. Okay.
officially a teenager, and I'm like, oh my God, how did that
Oh,
happen?
okay.
Yes, yes. And he's, by the way, taller than me. I
Oh, okay.
when I'm getting on this case, I have to do this now.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. I got to be
Time
like,
to get some bigger shoes.
yes, yes. So anyway, the a few of the things that I love most about you, I love your authenticity, I love your thoughtfulness, and I love your candor. And so, leaning into that, tell us. I mean, do you like? I guess I want to know in an authentic and in a direct way is where does this strength and this courage that you've had to put on display uh, for the better of 9 years, but definitely in the last year. Where does that come from? And so, as you think of your life and your upbringing or whatever, like people don't just wake up with that type of mental and emotional endurance, the courage, the focus, the resilience. People don't wake up with that. That's created, that's built over time. And that's probably something I'm not really clear on. Where does that come from?
So, what do you mean, from the year I've been here or the year before I got here?
I'm just saying, in general, I associate certain character traits with you that I think are just inherent to you, even outside of this situation. But it came out in this situation, and some of them are courage, resilience, toughness, and I would like to know, like, what bred that, what built that. Like, was there anything in your upbringing or in your life experience, anything that sort of conditioned you for what you had to pull out of yourself in order to make this happen?
I mean, I don't know, Michaela. I feel like,
That was such a Richie moment right now. I miss you saying that. You used to say that to me so much. I don't know, Michaela. Funny.
I think, I mean, I'm 51 and I've had a lot of life experiences. I mean, that's a whole nother
Show.
show. But I think, as a gay guy that had to deal with lots of bullying as a kid, finding my own way, pushing through that to get through school, be able to get through school and be strong enough to deal with that. I mean, just life in general, but specifically, I think it just got to the point where, like I said, like, this isn't who I want to be anymore. And I think that that's really powerful. Once you recognize and you look at yourself and you say, this is not me.
Yeah.
There were times when I would look back at maybe when I was 20 or maybe when I was 16, or sometimes my parents would send me these little pictures and stuff I would make as a kid, like in elementary school, and they'd send them to me in the mail. And like, there was one that I wrote like a little book, and it was like about my dreams or whatever. And I was like, I don't know, very young. But, when you get things like that and you look back and you're like, man, I was like 5 years old once, like, that was a long time ago. Yeah. How do I make my 5 year? How do I feel like I did? Does the essence of Richie, is the essence of Richie the same? How has it changed? Am I happy with how it's changed? And am I making that 5-year-old proud? Am I doing what the 5-year-old, when you're 5, you have lots of dreams.
Right.
And like, things are, you have a lot of dreams and the world is so big and like, you can do anything. And then you get to like 45 and you're like, what is this? Right. What happened to that 5-year-old that was dreaming all the time? Right. Now I'm here and I like ride the bus to work and I hate riding the bus to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're just like, how did I get here? Right. Like, is this what the 5-year-old wanted to do? Right. Is this what that 5-year-old Richie wanted to be like when I was 45? And it's like, no, this isn't like, why can't I be the 5-year-old that's dreaming again? Like, where'd all my dreams go? Yeah. And so it's like, I'm going to do this. Like, this is what I'm going to do. It's, I think that once you have something like that clicks, and you really think about it and you look back at your life and you think, where was all the adventure and where did all that go? Yeah. Where did funny Richie go? Yeah. Where did things go? You know what I'm saying? And they just got buried in what you said earlier, in the monotony of life and the comfort and like, I've got a job that pays me well and like, whatever. And like, you just get stuck in that. And I just didn't want that anymore. I just didn't, so I think that, not necessarily think that there was something specific. I just think that I just got to the point where I was like, this isn't who I want to be. Yeah. And this isn't where I want to be. This isn't, there's no way I'm going to be 80 and think to myself, why didn't I go do this bed and breakfast?
Thank you for joining us for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, and please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share to support the work we're building here.